With the recent passage of the Big Beautiful Bill, our office has received emails and calls asking the same question I think every retiree is asking themselves. How does this bill impact me? And I'm going to break it down in the most simple way possible. If you have qualified funds, an IRA, a simple IRA, a 401k, a 403b, a 457, aka if you have money that you took a tax deferred status on and pushed it down the road and you're going to have eventually required distributions or taxable gains on those positions, if you have those dollars, you are impacted by this bill. If you have money in a brokerage account, where let's say hypothetically you paid $100,000 for 10 different mutual funds and you've let it sat tax deferred over a period of 5 or 10 years and your value has increased. You paid $100,000, let's say it's worth $400,000 now. We know we've got gains and we know that those gains are going to be taxed when you make withdrawals on those positions or you change those positions. You're impacted by this bill. If you're receiving Social Security, you're impacted by this bill. Guys, if you're paying taxes every year, you're impacted by this bill. And so I don't fault people for being curious. The government shows up and with a stroke of a pen, they change all the rules and we're left to deal with the consequences. What I can tell you though is that there are provisions inside this bill that will make it more beneficial for seniors and retirees as it pertains to their taxes, possibly Roth conversions, capital gains on brokerage accounts, and a whole slew of other things. So if you're curious, does this bill impact me? If you have an IRA, if you have a 401k, if you have taxes, if you have Social Security, the answer is yes. But here's the kicker, and here's, I guess, the catch. When a law changes, it's going to impact each person differently because although the law is universal to the country, each person's situation is unique. Their income is different, their expenses are different, their taxes are different, their donations throughout the year may be different. And so it's not enough to have a general conversation about how this bill may impact you. You need to sit down with a professional and sit down with a team of advisors and understand how the bill specifically impacts your situation after punching in your data, your numbers, your accounts, and your situation. In the same way that we would never ask someone, hey, what's the best flavor of ice cream? Because it's a fairly subjective conversation. We shouldn't ask, well, how does this bill impact everyone? I think the more important question is, how does this bill impact me personally? And what can I do to take advantage of some of the provisions it gives us before those provisions leave? Because if there's one thing I think we can all agree on is that the government shows up, they stroke the pen, and the rules change. And although they're saying this is a permanent change, it is permanent until it's not. We kind of joke around it's permanently temporary, which means that in the future, if Congress changes or the president changes, there's a good chance that the tax laws could change, that standard deductions could change, that donation benefits could change, that income and tax to Social Security could change. So I love the question, how does this bill impact me? But the reality is to get a good answer, not a back of the napkin quick answer to see what might be, effective. A true numerical, mathematical based answer. You need to sit down and customize your situation to the bill and see how the bill customizes itself to your situation. I invite you, if you haven't done this before, come on in and sit down with our team of advisors. Frankly speaking, if you're already working with a financial advisor or a planning firm and they're not proactively reaching out to you to share with you how this bill could potentially impact your situation, come sit down with us. There's no cost, there's no obligation, but let's give you the confidence and the clarity that you deserve, because as tax laws change, it makes sense that our plans should change as well. We need to sit down, update things, and then we can see what that impact is to you. Encourage you guys to come on in. We look forward to that, and we look forward to giving you the clarity and the confidence that we know you deserve. And let's demystify what we're hearing about this bill, and let's find out for sure how it impacts us directly.